Ladies and gentlemen, one and all, in the year 2006, on the very 8th of March, a humble point-and-click adventure game, horror adventure game to be more specific, was released into the world by Argentinian developer Nucleosis, a company founded in 2003 by Agustin Cordes and Alejandro Graziani. The game itself wore the title Scratches and revolved around the story of Michael Arthate, a upcoming writer of British origin in search of inspiration for his next book. In order to find it, he purchased the old Blackwood Manor, a large ownerless building far away from any kind of civilization. Within, he hoped to become one with its atmosphere, one that could guide his pencil across the empty pages of his mind. But instead of inspiration and mere atmosphere, he would soon begin little by little to uncover the dark secrets of the manor, events that would forever haunt him until the very end. Scratches quickly became a sleeper hit of 2006, and just 1 year later, in the middle of 2007, the so-called Director's Cut edition was released, featuring an alternate ending, a side story following the events of the main one titled The Last Visit, remastered sound, graphics, and more. Perhaps you remember, ladies and gentlemen, that I, myself, your humble host, TheShadowCookie, let's played Scratches DC from start to finish, a project that began on the 22nd of September 2011 and lasted until the 20th of February 2012. Yes, indeed. To this day, Scratches still remains as one of my most favorite fictional stories of all time. It truly immerses the player, allows him or her to become one with the Blackwood Manor, experiencing all of its long-forgotten tragedies, miseries, and so much more. It wasn't a simple experience about solving puzzles, no. It was one to challenge the player's humanity, how far they'd be willing to dive into the past while keeping their sanity alive. A beautiful masterpiece of art, to make a long story short. 2 years later, a new project was released by Nucleosis, the educational adventure Risk Profile, a humorous title that was sadly never translated into other languages, but was still received extremely well in the country it was released in. Unfortunately, much to my personal dismay, Nucleosis had to close their very doors in late 2009. Scratches would forever remain their sleeper hit baby, a point-and-click adventure game like none other before. Silence followed soon after. However, this was not the end, only the beginning. Soon the curtain would vanish completely, as Agustin Cordes and his very team returned under a new name, Senscape. Shortly after their revival, a viral marketing campaign began that involved a series of online videos posted on YouTube, alleged to be posted by an escaped inmate called Leonard Huntings. A fake website for the so-called Hanwell Mental Institute was also created. And finally, on July 9th, 2010, a new game was announced at long last, Asylum, a psychological horror adventure inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, set in a massive, decaying mental institute. We can expect the release to occur sometime in December 2013. As you can all imagine, all of my attention belonged to them once again. But who exactly am I to talk? Just another fanboy, probably. Why, that is correct. But you can trust my words, one and all. Still though, today I am not here to tell you about every single detail surrounding Asylum, but rather to show you the very interactive teaser that was released not too long ago, a unique kind of demo created mainly for the purpose of convincing innocent passerbys to visit the Asylum and perhaps stay forever. Are you by chance interested in playing it yourself? In that case, you should head over to the very webpage of Asylum, link in the description below, where you can find the download. Or maybe you are curious to learn more about Asylum in general. Well, until the 28th of February 2013, Augustine Cordes's very Kickstarter is still running. On that page, you can find absolutely anything you need to know. Where's the link? Same answer as before. But do make haste, or else it might disappear. Of course, if you are watching this very video after the 28th, chances are you missed your chance. But do not worry, Senscape's website shall feel proud to share what you need. Very well then, I'd say we've postponed the inevitable long enough already. My humble name is MisterTSC, aka TheShadowCookie, and I welcome you all to the world of Asylum, the interactive teaser. Ah, how wonderful, truly beautiful even. I see that you have decided to accompany me after all, ladies and gentlemen, that you too want to discover what may be lurking within the dark corridors of the seemingly abandoned asylum. But this is not my story, nor is it yours.
I remember how busy this place was back in the day. Loonies gobbling the stew or rubbing it on their faces. I can almost hear the sound of dishes clanking.
But of course, it happens to be the story of our mysterious protagonist here, who seems to know a thing or two about the asylum. But who is he anyway? Why has he come back? And what exactly is he searching for?
I can hardly stand all this dust.
Time certainly showed no mercy whatsoever to this now ancient ruin, slowly falling apart and broken down, once a magnificent structure, but now nothing more than a memory of the past that little to nobody dares to remember. The souls of the damned are our only companions.
So much decay around me. It's depressing. And dust, lots of dust.
Such is the nature, the current fate, the very existence and also state of the Hanwell Mental Institute. One and all, have you arrived simply as visitors, or do you wish to become inmates yourselves, to stay permanently until the very end of time itself? There's only one way to find out, isn't there? Here, within the walls of the asylum. And with that said, I shall now allow myself to switch off narrator mode, ladies and gentlemen, because quite frankly, we do have a rather delightfully sounding narrator at our disposal. I can already safely say that I am enjoying the voice acting greatly. Could we perhaps have another taste?
I better leave the cafeteria quickly, unless I want more dirt in my lungs.
Thank you, Mr. Josh Mendel, that is going to be my very way of pronouncing your humble name. Thank you. I can only repeat myself in a different way. Truly, outstanding voice acting qualities. You have managed to earn my respect with only a few sentences. Now then though, ladies and gentlemen, I am almost 100% certain that all of you are very eager to watch me examine this old abandoned asylum. First of all though, you should know that I am of course known as the slow Let's Player or the slow-paced Let's Player. As a result of that, you shouldn't expect rushing, no, instead you should expect me to stand around completely still, like this, talking to no end. Yes, indeed. Well then, I do believe though that we should get this show onto the road little by little. Therefore, what do we have here within the lower right corner of the screen, I wonder? Why, it happens to be a journal, the very journal of Josh Mendel. Just like Michael Arthate, the protagonist of Scratches, had one, Josh Mendel happens to call one his own as well. 3 entries visible: Reminder, Tunnel of the Damned, as well as Infirmary. A reminder to serve as a reminder. That is quite obvious, isn't it? But what is it trying to remind us of? I want to learn more about it, believe me. Aha, if you would be so kind to allow me to read this out loud. The Integrated README. Greetings. We are glad that you are playing Asylum. Please note that this is a work in progress, which is still rough around the edges and may have some bugs. Take it as a tutorial of sorts that does not feature gameplay from the actual game, which is why we are not calling it a demo. We prefer to think of it as an interactive teaser. Here's hoping that you enjoy exploring the small portion of the Hanwell Mental Institute, so to speak. Please do get back to us with your thoughts and feedback. We still have many things left to tweak and improve, and your input is invaluable to us. One helpful tip: you can always press spacebar to toggle indicators that show the interactive spots around you. Further controls are described in the next page, as well as important information for game developers. Well, this is certainly a delightful bunch of information. Thank you, Team Senscape. Thank you very much for this very kind and friendly integrated README. Ah yes, the spacebar, just like in so many point-and-click adventure games. If you press it, certain areas will perhaps illuminate or have a little icon in front of them or above them. It indicates that you can interact with them. We shall not make use of that, simply because it would break the immersion, but it is still a rather delightful thing to have, should something ever go wrong. Now then, we can follow them on Twitter and Facebook, but I am not going to do that right now. Instead, we shall skip to the second page. Here we go. The controls. F1, take a snapshot and spread the horror, or I'll be certain to spread the horror, even though I am already kinda spreading the horror through this video. I hope that you are enjoying, ladies and gentlemen. F2, gamma control. Press several times to cycle through 3 levels of extra gamma. I do believe I can try that out, just because why the heck not? F3 it was, eh? No, that is actually something else, F2. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You should be able to see that. As the gamma changes, so changes our very perception of reality. Now it seems like the moon is shining brightly tonight, but no, I prefer to stay in the dark. F3 cycles through 4 different camera speeds. The default is fast. Well, I already toyed around with the camera speeds a little bit before, and I can safely say that fast is a little too fast for me. Let us change that to slow camera speed. F4, toggle the journal icon. When disabled, use the right mouse button to open or close. I shall keep that in mind. Last but not least, sorta, escape. Pressing this key will skip dialogue lines. If no lines are playing, it quits the teaser. Yes, certainly, be wary of that one at all. Do not press escape. As long as there are no lines of dialogue on screen, it won't end well. Ctrl plus F, toggle between full screen and windowed mode. Supports resizing. On Macs, use CMD plus F. You can also use WASD keys to control the camera. Finally, Asylum is highly configurable. Feel free to edit the Dagon Father Dagon, are you watching us? Feel free to edit the dagon.cfg file with any text editor and tweak the settings to your liking. I have already taken care of that. I have given the very CFG file my custom resolution, and I have toyed around with these settings as much as I could without ruining the experience. The final part of this humble integrated README, developers. You can set debug mode to true, which will enable you to toggle the console while playing by pressing the tilde or tab keys. The source code is also available for your perusal and fully commented. We encourage you to test the engine and experiment with the Asylum code. It could also be that I pronounced that one word wrong, perusal, but at the end of the day, nobody cares anyway. And that takes care of this, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, Team Senscape, thank you so very much for this integrated README. I am pretty sure that plenty of human individuals appreciated lots and lots to no end. However, reading something can only go on for so long. After all, we got ourselves a small part of the Asylum to observe, a small part to explore, a small part to become a part of ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin by showing you the very camera settings I am currently using. This game supports 3 camera settings. One of them is still a little finicky, and it also happens to be the one I am using right now. We can look around freely, and the very hand icon will always be focused on the center. There are also 2 other settings. Number 1, you can move the icon around freely, and once you touch the very borders of the screen itself will move into that direction. The final setting, you can drag. Yes indeed, you can hold down the mouse key and then point into a certain direction. It will drag the camera towards that very direction. However, I am simply using the rather finicky mode because I enjoy it more than any of the other. It gives me that scratches feeling, just being able to look at whatever I want without pauses. Pauses and, you know, pointing towards one border of the screen and slowly going, oh, it's so very slow. No, I want to be allowed to move fast. Of course, you can tell that looking around like this is still a little laggy, depending on how fast you do it. But hey, that is why they called it finicky, after all. Now then, we are not yet quite done with the journal, I am afraid. There are still 2 more entries. Now then, Mr. Josh Mandel, you seem to know quite a bit about this old Asylum, but why have you come back? Or more importantly, what is it that you are searching for? The Tunnel of the Damned? Certainly sounds intriguing. I want to know more about it.
I must go to the so-called Tunnel of the Damned, one of the most horrifying places in this asylum. Hopefully I'll find the answers I seek in there.
One of the most horrifying places, eh? That sounds reassuring, no doubt about it. But you're hoping to find whatever you are searching for inside of the tunnel? Is there anything you are hiding from me? Anything else you feel like sharing?
So many awful stories were told about the tunnel. It's where the highest risk patients were locked up.
Oh dear. I am feeling less safe by the second. But if Mr. Mendel wants to find the so-called Tunnel of the Damned, then I suppose the only thing we can do is assist him. Last but not least, what about the infirmary?
If I remember well, the way towards the tunnel is through the infirmary.
Uh-huh, so you have brought a little bit of knowledge with you, good sir. That calms down my thoughts a little. At least you are prepared, right? There are probably other things he can say if you simply click certain things enough times, but I don't want him to repeat himself, at least not all that much. Therefore, away with you, journal, away with you for now. Thank you. And that, I'd say, takes care of the very introduction, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Now that we have all the talking out of the way, we can actually start to examine the asylum for real. Next time, I am afraid. Sorry, but this is true TSC style. You'll either get used to it, or you abandon me. Just like people abandoned this asylum so long ago. Until next time, my humble name has been TheShadowCookie, and you have been watching Let's Play Asylum, the interactive teaser, episode 1. I hope that you will join me for more. Until next time, have a good day. Signing out for now.